Rubber Planet here at the gym. I'm doing some lying leg curls for my leg workout, and I figured I'd kind of discuss one topic that comes up often with clients. Is sometimes they'll say when they're doing a lying leg curl, you can see the machine right there, and you'll see me using it here in a second. But they'll often say that their lower back hurts. So kind of like right above their hip, their back will hurt, and that's usually because when they're doing the movement, they're also like arching their back really hard. So one of the things you can do to alleviate some of that pain is keeping your abs active. And this would be considered like doing like a vacuum, which is like a bracing exercise. And this is also what you should do when you're doing a plank. So how you can do this is you mimic the sensation of holding your pee. So it's like you're trying to stop yourself from peeing. So you can actually do this right now, even if you're sitting down. So mimic that feeling, holding your pee. Then take your belly button and pull it into your back bone. So we'll see here is I don't want my stomach like sticking out. This is not a very good look. So we want to hold the pee and then pull our belly button inward. And that's going to brace everything. So we don't want to be hunched over. We just want to pull the belly button in. And it's like if you're like somebody who's going to punch you or hit you, everything's braced already. So hold the pee, belly button in, and then when you do this exercise, you would hold that the whole time, and it's going to help prevent your back from kinking and arching because your abs are tight to prevent that. So I'm going to do a heavy set here and just kind of go through that same process. You're not going to actually be able to see me doing it, but what you will see is that I'm not arching my back. So I'm just going to be holding a nice strong position, and it's because I'm mimicking holding the pee and my belly button pulled in. So I'm going to go down and do that. Let me make sure this is centered. Okay, so let me tilt that forward a little bit for us to see. So let me go. I'm still learning all my camera skills here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do a heavy set with that in mind. Whew. So that worked out pretty well. So back up to seeing my beautiful face. Here we go. So what you'll see if you watched it again is that my hips didn't like lift when my legs lift. I didn't have any body movement. Everything just stayed right in place. So hold the pee, pull the belly button in, and that'll help keep your back nice and braced and get rid of some back pain for you. Cool, give that a try. Hello, hello. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing some dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts, and I'm pairing that with the heavier sets of hamstring curls. Thought it'd be good to kind of cover, again, why people have back pain when they're doing dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts. So most people, if they think of how they stand naturally, they're going to have a hip tilt posture. Some people, their hips are kind of like dumped forward, so their butt kind of sticks up, and it makes their lower back pre-tensioned and tight. And then some people, their motion or their kind of natural stance is tucked under. So they tend to kind of have like the lower back sticks back more than the butt. So they kind of have like this kind of front over look. The other people are this way and their butt kind of sticks up, and they can sometimes still have bad upper posture. But this is common where people will have their hips in one position or the other. So it would be great to have them in the middle. That's the more athletic, kind of natural, healthy position. But due to people's inactivities or different type of weaknesses related to their hips, they'll have different compensations for position. So sometimes they'll be butt back or they'll be butt tucked. So when you're doing dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts, I'm just going to show you a set real quick, like 5 reps so you know what I'm talking about. So I'll grab some dumbbells. I'd have my feet kind of narrow. They'd be about hip width like this. And then I'm going to push my hips back, lowering the dumbbells towards my feet. This gives me a stretch of my hamstrings. I come up and squeeze my glutes. So stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. So you notice I'm never bringing my hips under me because that loads my lower back. So I always want to keep my hips behind my shoulders. So the dumbbells go straight down. Then I squeeze, down, and squeeze. So that's the exercise we're looking to correct. If you have back pain and somebody tends to have their back arched, when they go down, they have a lot of strain and pain in their arch, in their lower back. So what they can do is if you stand here and you kind of think about your hip position and you say, okay, if I'm back, let me practice tucking forward. Let me practice going back, tucking forward, and then holding in the middle. So find the space in the middle. Then you can do that concept we just discussed about hold the P, belly button tight, and then you would want to rotate by holding that position. So my belly is tight as I would push my butt back, and I make sure my belly stays tight and I don't get into this arch. So again, you can hold the P, belly tight, and then start practicing the motion by just tilting at your hips, but not letting your lower back contract. You can try this with body weight, then start adding lighter dumbbells. If you're the person that has their hips tucked, as soon as you go to start the movement, your back usually rounds. And it usually means that your hamstrings aren't stretching. So again, you would kind of push back, tuck under, push back, find somewhere in the middle, hold the P, belly button tight, and now you'll practice doing that same motion, but it might feel like you have to almost start to arch just to hold the correct position. So if you're used to your hips tucking, you now have to practice that by pushing your butt back. And that keeps your back nice and flat. So those are a couple corrections for people. The other thing is just make sure the pressure's in your heels and make sure that you're pushing your butt back to go down, not actually leaning forward. So those are some good tips. Now I'll show you guys a couple of supersets back and forth so you can see me putting this stuff into action. Okay. So that was one of my warm-up sets. So now we'll get up just heavier and have some fun. Go. So that was an example of one of my heavier sets. So the lying the lying hamstring curls are being done somewhere between like 5 and 10 or 6 and 10. So I got 8 there, and then The dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts are done for somewhere between 6 and 10 as well. I've got 10 on that. So I love this pairing because the right hamstring curl works the bottom part of the hamstring. So the connection down into the knee is kind of the most vulnerable in that position. Whereas in this one, the dumbbell stiff leg deadlift, the most vulnerable position of the hamstring is actually the top end under your glute. So put these back to back kills the hamstring, not only your lungs. I'm just kind of fat and out of shape, so that's why I'm breathing so hard. But this is great because this pairing works the top and bottom ends. So if you're ever worried about hamstring injury, this pairing is a great way to kind of prevent that or work against that. Also, if you want full hamstring development, if you're for aesthetics, this helps that as well. So give that pairing a try in your next workout.